This episode of the Roscommon People podcast is brought to you by Dermot Hughes Cars at Lone Road, Roscommon Town. Check out the full range of new and used cars available. dermothughescars.ie. Welcome back to the Roscommon People podcast. Today we are joined by IBA World Championship finalists and silver medal holders, Lisa and Aoife Rourke. Nice to see you today, girls. How are you, ladies?
Thanks for having us.
Bye. How are you?
Thanks for having us very much.
Good. So, start off. You were in Serbia at the last weekend. What was it like?
So we're just home a week today, and we had the World Championships, and thankfully the two of us got on very well. We both made the final and brought home the silver medals. Look, at the final didn't go the way we would have liked, but I suppose doing it alongside Aoife was more than enough at the time. So
well, we've set world records, as we've discovered since.
It's like when Dad does ask us, he's how did you get on? And we say we came second, so
as good as it gets.
Good,
yeah. Well, it's certainly you're the pride of Roscommon at the moment. Anyway, that is without a doubt. And you've done the county and the country proud, bringing home the double silver. As I suppose, when you're in the ring in Serbia at the World Championship, are you thinking about making world history as being the first sibling duo to make it to a world final, or does that even register?
No, I think we just kind of treat it like any other fight. You get through one fight and then you're just preparing for the next one. There's no looking up the history books or anything like that for us. We wouldn't have a clue until we see a headline saying we are the first two sisters to bring home silver medals or from the world or whatever
to fight
it is.
in a final, to fight in a world
one
final.
after another, but we wouldn't know any of that unless it was in front of us in bold writing. So
I suppose for anyone sitting at home, you kind of had this star-studded impression of what it must be like to fight on the world stage, that somebody sits you down immediately afterwards and says, wow, you're after setting this record, that record, the next record. That's not how it works.
That doesn't happen.
And what's going through your mind, Aoife, particularly when you're in the ring? What's in the 10 seconds ahead of you at any given time?
So from, say, the warm-up and all of that, you go through all of that, and then for the final anyways, you're kind of left standing by yourself for a minute or two. Well, it feels like a long time, but a minute anyways before you walk out to the ring. Right. And your coaches actually they meet you at the ring for the final and the semi-final as well, I think. And so you have to walk out by yourself. So honestly, the most thing I'm thinking about, I'm where am I walking to? Where am I looking? I'm don't trip, because there'll be wires and stuff on the ground, and you're don't trip, don't fall. Making sure that you just get in the ring the way you normally would, and then I because we'd come in the middle, and I was oh, will I jog over to the corner? Will I skip, or will I just walk? And then I remember I was okay, just keep power walking. Honestly, it's just about getting to the corner, and then you get to the corner, and your coaches are all right, big breath, give you your water, gum shields, and then it's just kind of everything else flows. It's the ref comes over, checks you, then you're into the center of the ring, and then before you know it, the first bell is gone, and honestly you don't hear, or you're not thinking of anything else. It's literally what I can hear the coaches shouting, trying to remember the plan that they gave me, and for me just continuously listening to what they're saying, because obviously not every plan goes perfect, and
it's they say the best laid plans don't survive battle.
You need plan B and C, and the coaches are literally in the moment they're giving you the feedback, so listening to them and then trying to implement it as best you can. That's kind of what has been going through my head.
And I suppose, Lisa, when you come out of the ring, then what thoughts are going through your mind?
I suppose it depends on how the result ended up, but knowing, I suppose, in the semi-final stage, it was a tight result for myself. Aoife had much clearer, I suppose, result, but just knowing I was getting into the final now, and it was where I wanted to be, and it had gone my way in the semi, and
then I suppose in the final you have mixed emotions. Like you're grateful for getting to the final, and like just like thankfully were coming home with a medal. We just were a bit unsure what colour it was going to be, but there was girls on the team that lost out narrowly, most of the girls, and most of their opposition were medal holders. So like it just shows how close the team was all around, really. And then like you have mixed emotions when you know you've lost in the final, because obviously you go in to win. You don't go into lose, or just go in half hours kind of ways. Yeah. But and then you just have to, I suppose, appreciate being there, that there's other girls that would have took the arm and leg off you to be in that position. And like you do eventually. I think the two of us looked at each other after, and we were just like, oh, what happened and all this. But then we picked ourselves up and we tried making a more not a laugh, but like just putting a smile on our faces that evening. And just trying to realize that we were still coming home with 2 silver medals.
But that shows you the standard that you hold yourselves to. You really and truly are in every fight to win, and not just to say you're a medalist. You actually are there with that competitive edge. Where did that competitive edge come from? Start with you, Aoife.
I don't know, but I think I've probably always been a bit competitive, like whether it's just like being myself.
There's a story here.
I don't know, but like growing up with 4 other sisters as well, like you want to. There are plenty of times we've been baiting each other, like, but you always want to come out on top, like. But I don't know. I suppose I've probably been competitive no matter what sport I was doing. Growing up, like, I don't think anyone really goes into any competition trying to lose,
right.
You know. So there's always kind of just that bit of wanting to do well. But I think as I got older and understood like training and like what it takes to get to the top, you realize how hard you work for something. So to get in and like you want to do your best, like you've put in all this training, and like your best mightn't be coming away with a gold medal, but like coming away knowing that you left everything in the ring and that you couldn't have trained any harder and prepared any better, and that showed your performance reflected the preparation that was put in. So I think that's kind of a lot of it for me. And if I do have nerves, it's nerves that I'm afraid I won't perform, knowing that I've prepared so hard.
You know you can perform.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And I suppose then in terms of the family dynamics, so you say a big family of
5 girls.
5 girls, and their 2 eldest sisters are nursing in Australia.
They're over in Australia, yeah.
And there's 3 of you left at home. So as they say, what's the genealogy there in terms of sport and history?
I think we've all kind of been into sport growing up. JA probably would have been the main sport. Lisa's still playing that, and then the boxing kind of didn't come in until 2018. I started that, then soon after Lisa started. But then like growing up in school and everything, we all played basketball, soccer, did a bit of everything. And yeah, now we've Ailish, our other sister, she's busy playing rugby. And what else?
Very good. Who did she play rugby for?
Playing with Craig's women's team, yeah, and they're flying it, so there.
And Lisa, you went back training on last week, I believe it was, not long after you got home on Monday.
Yeah, I went.
Well, was that just to burn off some excess energy, or?
No, look, I think everyone was like, you're daft or whatever. But I think any other girl on that team in my position would do the exact same. Go back, like just get into that environment with a bunch of girls and training, like, because boxing, I suppose, it is like there is a team of us, but I suppose it's a lonely place in the ring too. So it's nice to have that football group of girls and go back in with the mix of them and train and have the crack, and while having the serious side too.
Yeah, well, that's good. And in terms of your how the dynamics work with Team Ireland. So there's how many of you are actually on the team? How does it work in terms of getting out there, organizing? Like, is it all organized for you? Do you have to like book your own flights? Like, these are, I suppose, seem like obvious things that we presume agents or managers do all these things for you, but
So they kind of would pick. There's about 30, just over 30 of us in Dublin, I think, between male and female, and it's kind of picked from the national elites. Between even like if you're a runner up, like they still would consider you. So there's nearly ones and twos, even threes at some weights, and then you're called up for the squad training, and you're told there might be assessments or that they're continuing to like assess you each week, and they'll eventually pick someone and say you're going to X competition, you're going to Y, and then you have your focus and you're just looking forward to the competition and the preparation. I think we were lucky we got to go to China for preparing for the World Championships this time around, so that was a massive experience in itself. And then we went to the Worlds, and like everything is booked for us and like planned out, and we're lucky that way, compared to some other countries that are smaller teams. I suppose we've heard of girls gone and they've had to book their own flights, their accommodation and whatnot, so like we're lucky that
book our own flights. Myself and Lisa wouldn't be booking it till the night before the actual flight. Like, I was there a week before I boxed in Serbia, so like if I had the option to book my own flights, I'd be booking it the night before.
And probably 3 legs with a Ryanair all the way out.
Yeah. It'd be I wouldn't be out there now for any extra days for a holiday ratting, because people think we go to these places and they're beautiful and we get to see them, like, and we really don't. It's like it becomes very lonely in a competition, in an individual sport. Like, even the two of us, how many girls went to 8? There was 8 of us that went to the World Championships, and myself and Lisa were obviously the only 2 left in the competition, and I don't think we've seen the other 6 girls for a week. It felt like ages, and they all came to our room then just before we headed off for the finals to wish us well. And I just said to them, I was like, girls, I can't wait to see you after. Like, I feel like I haven't seen any, or like got to speak to other people, like, and you just become so like.
And how long are you in that zone for when it comes up to a big competition?
From once we land, like.
Right, okay.
Yeah, from once we land, and then normally you'd have a few days before they actually do the draw. Right. So then they'd done the draw on, say, Saturday, and I found out I was boxing on Thursday. Lisa found out she was boxing on the Wednesday. So nothing changes. It's just kind of your same breakfast, lunch, dinner, bit of training. That's it. It's so repetitive for a few days. And
that discipline to stay in that repetitive frame of mind constantly. How do you get any like sports psychology training or mindfulness training, anything like that? Because like mentally, it has to be almost harder nearly than the physical end of things to stay focused.
It can become very boring. Like, you know, we'd be on the phone to them at home. They'd be like, any news? And we're like, oh my God, like, no, like,
none
has changed. Like, we're literally doing the exact same thing as we told you we were doing yesterday. And
the day before.
But we're just kind of like, we're kind of like, oh, it'll just be worth it now when we get to the end of the competition. Yeah. And for the sake of a few days, you're like, no, I'm not going to change my routine or upset Anthony. So you just kind of become repetitive. Yeah, and you're like, no, it'll be worth it or whatever. And
compared to the team sports, Lisa, I suppose you're still playing GAA. How do you compare the experience of boxing as part of a team in an individual sport, as Aoife pointed out, with that of playing on a team sport where you actually have 14 other people on the pitch with you?
Yeah, I suppose, like you said, it can be lonely in the ring. Like, with the football side of things, you'll always have 14 other girls on the pitch with you. Hopefully there's no yellow cards or that. But, like, there's a bit more, like, it's not just all on you. So you have the team like constantly. Where like in the ring, I suppose, yes, you have your coaches in the corner or whatever, but like it's like if they tell you throw your backhand, it's down to you if you do it or not. Like, or
Right.
when you do it, the time and everything is down to you in the ring. And like where I just feel like in the pitch you have more girls with you, and there's always someone there nearly to back you up, running off the shoulder or whatnot. Like where in the ring it can be now or never. Like it's just
Yeah.
a bit, it can be daunting by yourself, but like I think that's why we love it too, because it is all down to the person in the ring. And like whether when things go your way, like you're like, I done that really. Obviously you have the support team between coaches, nutritionists, everything alongside you, but it's like I said, it's just down to what you do in the ring, and like that's how the result fares out really on the day. You have your tactics and all that, but yeah, it's how you implement them, and that I suppose decides the results.
That's
then.
how the results how it
Yeah.
comes down to, as to say, that's how the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. So we'll take a little bit of a flashback in time. You are from Tarmon outside of Castlereagh. So tell us, how did it feel to grow up in Castlereagh when you grew up in Castlereagh?
Tarmon, I suppose, not too big. It's a little out in the countryside outside Castlereagh, and we didn't grow up doing boxing. It wasn't in the background of neither side as a family. We were probably two of the girls of the family house that were always out and about on the farm, getting stuck in the mud. We had no fear of getting our hands dirty, I suppose. But yeah, we'd be always with Daddy, and we had the experience of growing up on a family veterinary clinic, or granddad who was a vet, and then the practice went on, and by Billy Lavin when our grandfather died. So we were always kind of in the mix of having care and being careful for the animals and that when they were sick, and then going out and about with Daddy. And then we were always kind of, I suppose, in with sport, where there was a lot of Castlereagh St. Kevin's in the JA, and then doing basketball, and kind of always just busy, I suppose. Just weren't really stuck inside.
And I'm going to go back to something Lisa let out the bag there. PE class, Aoife. The competitive edge. What's the story behind that comment?
I don't know which one you're getting.
No, I just,
Which one you're getting? All right.
No, I just kind
we've
of
got,
mean
we've
like
got a scoop here now, folks.
we'd have that bit of a spark of competitiveness from like even in PE class.
Right.
You'd like, whether you were just on the red team, you wanted your team to win.
win.
The smallest little margins like that. We just kind of,
even on the farm, like I remember Dad does like to say we got our strength from him, from all the buckets of meal he had us carrying, and for we used to scrape sheds, like scraper, yeah. And like I can even remember like having competitions with Dad, being like, how many pushes do you think it'll take? And like obviously he always let me win, but it was just being competitive.
But was he actually letting you win?
I think it was his way of getting me to do the work. That's all it was. But for me, it was the best thing in the world. Like I loved being out and about and growing up and being out in the fresh air. And I think just we had a great upbringing, and we can't really
say much more than that. Really, in terms
we
of
really
it.
enjoyed it, and we got to play a mixture of sports, as well as being.
So your parents
physical
were
work.
obviously very supportive of your sporting interests. What was the reaction when you decided to say, "Do you know what? Actually, I think I'll fancy joining Castlereagh Boxing Club."
There wasn't a lot said, only that no, you're not, and it was kind of left at that. I was in secondary school, and we finished school at like 4:00, and I remember training used to be at 6. And now there was a few girls in my year that were doing the boxing that I was friendly with, and they're like, come down to the club now and we'll go train this evening, and that was grand. And I was doing Irish dancing as well at the time, so I used to stay in from school from 4 to 6 anyways and go to dancing. And then anyways, one evening I text Mum and I was like, don't collect me till 7 o'clock and collect me from the hub in Castlereagh, not the usual dancing spot. So anyways, that was it. I just I didn't really give her a choice. I just told her I was going. And then once she got to know Paddy and got to know everyone in the club, and she came to my first fights and all that, like, because Mum is like, she loves, no matter what sport we're doing, she'd be on the sideline. So once she got in and seen what it's actually about, I think she's been supportive since. Like,
Ever since.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, it's great that there was such a fine boxing club in Castlereagh.
Yeah.
And it was established, I think, in 2011.
11, yeah. I just remember, like, going to football training and the girls were like, oh, we went down to the boxing club and we done the class or whatever. Right. And the fitness was so hard, and it was this and it was that. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Like, so everyone was just saying, like, how great the fitness was in it, and that it was going to improve their football. And that's how I that's all I was going for. Like, I was like, oh, I'll go down and get fitter for football or whatever.
Right, okay. So that was the origin story, was just to actually up your fitness level for football. And then ultimately...
And then Paddy, like, there was no getting away from Paddy then once he had us. He
saw the potential.
I don't know what he saw, probably 2 Egypts at the time, but like, I couldn't get into the ring without laughing, or like, I couldn't take it serious at all. But no, Paddy stuck with us and like brought us everywhere, all over Ireland, training every week. Like, there wasn't a week that we weren't on the road going to different clubs. So only for him and him sticking at it with us and putting the time and effort into it, coaching us, we wouldn't be like representing Ireland today anyways.
Yeah. And from that perspective, on Monday of last week when you had your homecoming, St. Patrick's Day as well, might I add, a very apt day for you to come home representing Team Ireland. You presented Paddy with memento of your consideration and your appreciation, I suppose, for him. I was holding back the tears myself watching the moment. I can't imagine what it was like to be in the room.
Yeah, look at when
you have your medals here with you.
Here, and it was the first time ever we'd got medals that could be separated. Like, it was so unusual. Like, I've never even heard of that before. But
we thought my medal was, we were in anti-doping, the two of us, after I had gotten my medal and she was still waiting on hers, and there was 2 ribbons and they were joined together, and it was crooked, and I was like looking at it, and she was like, I was like, geez, that's not good enough. Like, that's a world medal and it's offline.
It's already off center.
I was like, but then I was just like, put it aside. And then she was like, that's 2 medals. Like, say nothing. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, say nothing. Put it in her pocket. And then we realised it was one of our coaches came up and said, seen some of the coaching from other countries had them around their necks, and we were like, oh, it's 2 medals, and I had like the coach on the back of the other medal, and next thing we knew, well, like, with the 2 of us kind of looked and were like, Paddy deserves definitely one of these. And just to try and give something small back to him, I suppose, for all he has done for us, and just to recognise that we do really appreciate all the work and down through the years. Like, it wasn't just overnight that happened, and just all the work he's done, and even like his family in general, putting the time and work
effort into
us,
the club and into yourselves.
Exactly.
Paddy said to us here last week, when they set up the club in 2011, they'd have been very happy with a Connacht title, and you've really rose that bar so much higher than the Connacht title, really.
I can remember the first time going to the club, and I had to weigh in for the Roscommon championships. Like, there was no other girl my weight or anything like that, but like, this was so new. It was the first time I ever stood in the scales as well. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I didn't know, got frightened my life knowing what weight I was, but like, it meant nothing to me. Like, I didn't realise, like, oh my God, I have to go stand in the scales here. And then there might be somebody for me to box. Now, there wasn't anyone for me to box, but I got a medal then, and that was my first like county Roscommon medal. Like, it was like, and there was other people that had to like have a fight to actually earn that medal as well. Right. And then next thing, so because I was the champion in Roscommon, I went to the Connachts.
Right.
And like then you fought for your Connacht medal, and like I see the kids now and like that's massive, and it is
Right.
massive. Like it's not everybody that has a Connacht medal, and then they go from their Connachts to the All Irelands, and that's another big step again. And then if you win an Irish title, that's when the Irish team, you might get your call.
That's
for
when they
that.
look into
Yeah,
who they can bring on to Team Ireland.
so it's so exciting, like for all the young kids, like when you see them competing in the Connachts and bringing home medals to the club and that.
Aoife, with yourself, growing up, was there any particular inspiration in sport or inspiration, I suppose, in life in general, that you would have had maybe growing up, and had a unique perspective on that growing up in rural Ireland, I suppose?
In sport, like for boxing anyways, I do actually remember watching Keisha Taylor, but at the time I wasn't boxing. I didn't know anything about it, and I never thought I would be boxing her. It wasn't like I watched her being like, oh, I want to do that.
Right.
But like having been doing boxing now, like looking back at all her success, and that she still continues to make history. She's an incredible athlete, and she's done so much for women in sport as well. And then being on a team with like so many other talented boxers in Ireland, Olympic champions, world champions, Europeans, like they're all inspirations. I think I was really inspired by Kelly Harrington when we were in Tokyo and she won the gold medal. I think like I was just amazed. Like it was all still so new to me at that stage. Like to see somebody win an Olympic gold in front of you, that was a big like moment for me as well, to watch that.
And that drives you on, I suppose,
oh,
as
it
well, to
definitely
say to
did,
yourself.
like-
So even though it mightn't have been an early life inspiration, it's one that when you witness it
Yeah,
firsthand, drives you
definitely.
into saying, okay, well, now I have to
Yeah.
see,
And
can
knowing
I
that
achieve
like
more?
you're training alongside her and seeing what she does and how she like holds herself, and like she's still so humble about all the success she's had, and she's such a down to earth person. Like outside of sport, I would always have been inspired by my granddad and his love and care for animals, but also how hard he worked, and no more than my own father, like how hard he still works. You know, being a farmer, it's not an easy job. I think, I don't know, they chose hardship anyways on themselves. But seeing like people like that as well work
Yeah.
day in, day out, and not always have a lot to say to show for
Yeah,
it. Like
show
it's
for
just
the
the love
end,
for what they do. So I think that's really inspiring for me as well.
Yeah, and Lisa, from your perspective, I suppose you had an older sister who was already, only slightly, but has an older sister who kind of boxing. Or were you following in Aoife's footsteps when it came to boxing, or did you kind of preemptively know, oh no, I want to get into this?
No, like I probably only would have only started the sport for her.
Right.
I think the day even when she started, I used to think she was daft. I was like, no, like that's not for us. Like, you know, and I was like, I probably even said worse words about the sport that I can't probably say here. But anyways,
It's okay, this is going on in the interview.
yeah, and then just seeing how fast Aoife grew into the sport and like it reached such a high level so quickly, and then going to Tokyo and me going alone alongside her for that experience for the pre-camp over in Tokyo was a huge experience, and just watching her go competing at such a high level, and I suppose watching her get to the Olympic stage did really give me the drive to try and get there, and hopefully do get there someday. And then watching her repeat it all again, going to Paris, was just amazing, and actually going to witness her there competing in Paris was just a pinnacle, like a memory for the whole family to watch her. And just like she's reached such a high level at the sport and has accomplished so much and been so consistent, where going back for her to retain her European title each year in, year out. So like she's definitely been a huge inspiration for me, and don't want to give her a big head here now, but but just even from the simple things like watching her, she's been a huge help for me to get me on my my boxing journey too. So like having her as my roomie, I suppose, on every trip is a huge help in that way too. So like, very thankful to have her alongside me and looking up
Great
to her.
stuff. And I suppose outside of boxing, not that there seems to be an awful lot of time for boxing, anything outside of boxing and GAA and farming, what is it that I suppose you get up to?
We're great women. We're always at the kitchen table if we're not, or our head stuck in the fridge, or I know I suppose we're two people that just don't like sitting down, and that whether it's just even going for a walk, going out for coffee, or like we're obviously a lot with the time we are training, and then obviously you have tough sessions, so you're just a bit deflated in that way.
Yeah.
But like, I think just don't get up to too much exciting, really. Just
Like when we come home at the weekends, I like to go to the gym here.
Yeah,
I go
right.
out to Richie Feeney's. Like, I love coming home and getting to see people, like, because maybe I haven't got to go there all week with being in Dublin. So coming home and then getting in to see everyone there, like, I love that, and just getting to a bit of training with them. And yeah, like Lisa said, like, obviously then on a Sunday, I don't do a whole pile now. She might have a match or she'll do something like that. But it's nice to just have time at home as well, to unpack the suitcase, to wash everything and bring it back again. I feel like we live out of a suitcase.
Is this the proverbial Irish suitcase that comes home at the weekend, full of the week's washing and gets done for you, or is it one that you have to get done yourself?
We're not that lucky now. No, actually, we both do it ourselves, to be fair. So
That's all right. Well, I suppose that again kind of goes to show the discipline that it requires in all aspects of life, because it's serious business when it's in the ring, but it's also, I suppose, everything in life kind of becomes that little bit more serious. So how do you I suppose, get a little bit of or like, I suppose you're not going out drinking 20 pints on a Saturday night, or having kebabs on a Friday evening to make yourself feel that you did, I've been good all week, I'll have a kebab. How do you get to that place? Because most people have such an easy option.
I think it's a choice. Like, we all have a choice, and the foods we eat, whether we want to go for a pizza every Saturday night or Chinese every Sunday, whatever it is, like, that affects how we feel and perform on a Monday morning then. So to make that choice every weekend, like, we don't want to feel like shit on a Monday going into training, a week's training, like, and then, like, the two of us, if we don't get a full night's sleep, like, we'd be like two antichrists the next day. And so look, we both love training, and we love this lifestyle, like, so it's not like,
and I suppose that his thing is a lifestyle over,
like, we don't feel like
else.
we're missing out on anything. And if there is a time that we want to go out and we want to, that we can, like, it's not that we can't do it, but it's just that you mightn't feel great the following week. And is that leading into a competition? You might want to do it close to a competition or whatever. But I think, like, the way everything is going these days, everyone's getting into health and fitness, and they're getting into just being a healthier version of themselves, and it's great to see. And I love that now people want to meet up for coffee instead of meeting up to go to the pub. Like,
it's interesting that you said the coffee culture has really helped with alcohol reduction.
But it's great. Like, it's now you could be buying coffee every single day of the week, and maybe you mightn't spend as much if you did actually go to the pub. But it's great. Like, people are meeting up to go for a walk and then get a coffee after, or it's just becoming such a big thing now, and it's just so much healthier for everyone, I think. So
is there any sense of sacrifice or regret, or is it, as Aoife said, is it just the lifestyle that you love, and it is its own reward, so to speak?
I don't, like, they're not really sacrifices. Like, I know we might choose not to go, oh no, girls, I can't go out this weekend or that weekend. But I suppose we're just so lucky to have a group like my friends, and that they're so supportive of me on this journey, and our family as well. Like, they just understand all the work we do put in, and like, I know them small 1%ers of like saying, no, I can't go out or not go out, but I'll go out another weekend, or like they understand, and they're just great support to have, I suppose. But it's not that you're ruling out everything, like, and we're not like ruling out everything and just saying, oh no, we're just total eye vision on our boxing. Like, well, I think that's one thing we have learned as the years have gone on, like just even going watching Aoife, I know all the work she done for Paris. I've seen every box she takes, and like it didn't go her way, and like there's nothing we could do to go back and change that time. But just from learning from that, like you don't need to rule out everything and just say no to absolutely everything, and that you can have a balance. And once you have that balance, you can still succeed at the top level, and just enjoying life. I suppose that life is too short to just be total vision on one thing.
Particular thing.
Like you need to go out and do what you want and what makes you happy, because life's too short to be unhappy, and you just
that is for certain. Life is too short to be unhappy. But for what it's worth, I think we have two very happy ladies here today. It's great to have guests that are enjoying and having a laugh throughout the interview as well. I suppose if we go back to school in Castlereagh, life in Roscommon, like, have you seen much of a change in culture in general over the last 10, 15 years from your own perspectives? Like, locally, have things changed much?
I think, about the health and fitness thing is that's becoming such a big thing. But I think there's probably more options for people now. Like there's more gym classes available to everyone, leisure centres, there's more time that people can get to access these like classes and facilities.
And what advice would you give to anybody who was, I suppose, looking to change up their lifestyle?
First of all, finding a form of exercise that you enjoy. Okay. Like, you're not going to stick at something that you actually hate doing. Like, and why would you bother putting yourself through that? Like, forcing yourself to do the gym class or whatever. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, you can go outside and just get fresh air for 10 minutes. Go for a walk for 10 minutes. That's free. Literally, you can go outside, put on a pair of runners and go for a run. That's free. Like, I know not everyone is financially in a position to be signing up to gym classes and memberships and all that. Like, but there is a lot of stuff that we can do that doesn't require financial
outlays in any way. Yeah.
Like, just put on a jacket there and shoes and away you go. And then like diet wise, like I think it's about making small changes and not like doing this 6-week challenge. Like, are you going to be doing what you're doing for the 6-week challenge right now? Are you going to be doing that in 6 years' time? Like, I highly doubt it. Like, people are putting, they're cutting out every single thing. Like, they're not allowed chocolate. They're not allowed this. They're not allowed that. But like, are you going to be doing that in 6 years' time? Like, this isn't a 6-week life.
Yeah.
It's, you need to do what you're going to be like, oh, I can continue to do this for the next 16 years.
It has to be sustainable for
not
the person.
just and things don't happen overnight. Like, just I suppose stick with it for long enough till you see the benefits, and then I think anyways once you see the benefits, like, you're not going to want to stop. This is your new lifestyle, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're just going to have a better quality of life.
Yeah. And Lisa, for yourself, in terms of the starting off with something that you enjoy, but I presume as well you'd have to start off, if you're coming from a very low mobility or low activity level, start off slowly and build up to something more substantial.
Yeah, literally. And like, it's just making things as simple as you can. Like, you see in a phase there, everyone, 10,000 steps daily. But like, well, who came up with this number, 10,000? Like, why not take it down to 5,000 and be like, you could be someone who's sitting in the office every day, and you mightn't reach 5,000, but why are you jumping to this big 10,000 just because every Tom, Dick and Harry is doing it? Like, and it's just like, just trying to make things simpler. Like, pick a number, 5,000, what suits you as a person and your lifestyle, not like just because, Tom down the road is doing it, but he might have a totally different like he might be a bit more, his job day lifestyle could be on his feet every day and suits him. He could be getting 8,000 steps a day, so he's going to push for that extra 2,000. Like, and just like Aoife said, finding something that you enjoy is the most important thing. Like, and it's just doing the simple things right. And the same with nutrition and that. Like, it's not making massive changes, because you're not going to hold them on like for a long term effect. Like, so just small. And people think the likes of me and Aoife, oh, we don't have chocolate or that. We don't. Every day we have chocolate.
Yeah.
Every day. But like, that's why we can be a bit more consistent, is because we allow ourselves to have
You're
a
not
bit more of a
depriving yourselves
balance.
of anything.
Like, yeah. So like, just because you're competing at the top level doesn't mean you're not having sweet things. We do.
Yeah,
Trust
plenty
me,
of them.
we do. We have a sweet tooth. Yeah, so.
Would you say that if somebody was looking for advice, who would be the best type of person to go to, start the journey into, I suppose, a healthier lifestyle?
I suppose there's lots of ways nowadays. Like, you can do online coaching, you can go out to a person one-to-one, but I suppose it's more so what kind of experience you have. If you're someone who's very little experience of going to a gym, it's probably good to start off and maybe get a one-to-one personal trainer who can teach you the basics and get you just a bit more grounded and develop your knowledge and your wisdom, I suppose, on the type of lifestyle you'd like to change, and like set little goals for yourself, and don't make a big rush like into, oh, I want this and that. Like, it's great to have long-term ones, but I think it's important to have small little goals, stepping
Micro
stones
goals.
to get you to that.
Yeah.
Small achievable ones to get you to that end goal that you would love. And
a lot of people are afraid to go to the gym as well. Like, they might see somebody like an elite athlete training, they're like, God, I can't go there and do that. But like, there's actually nothing to be afraid of, and people aren't there to like like, if I'm going in doing my training and somebody else walks in, yourself walks in, I'm not going to stop my training, sit down and start judging you, or be like, did you see your man or whatever. Like,
Wondering what
you should be just in there to do your own thing. And if you are in a gym that is happening in, leave. Like,
that's the
Yeah.
simplest advice.
Yeah,
if
just
you feel
leave.
judged or in any ways uncomfortable for
Yeah.
whatever reason,
You shouldn't,
just,
like,
you shouldn't have that.
everyone should be allowed to use the gym, no matter what your fitness level is. And everyone has to have a day one. Like, say you come in and see me training, that's my day 500. Like, you could be starting from day one. How can you expect to be doing what I'm doing when I'm 500 days ahead of you? Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time going to a gym, I couldn't even squat. I was on my tippy toes. Like, I had the worst form. So like Lisa said, getting a one-to-one and getting somebody to show you the basic movements, because they're everyday movements. Like, you squat, you bench, you deadlift, you're lifting, you're shopping, squatting, you're sitting on the toilet. We do it every day.
Yeah. What's your own personal philosophies on social media? Do you read the comments? Do you not read the comments? Do you try and just stay in your own friend circle, in Facebook or wherever it may be?
No, you can get caught scrolling for way too long, and next thing you know, time has gone by and you're like, Jesus, how did that happen? But social media, I suppose I kind of only stick to Instagram. I don't have a big following on any of that, so I don't have any issues like not being able to get through comments or whatever. Like, I do see them all, and everyone's so supportive. Like, thankfully, I've never really had any negativity. But it wouldn't be a nice place to be like on if you are getting negative comments or whatever.
And have any of your colleagues in elite sporting, shared any of their stories about, when the negativity starts taking over, or have you been lucky enough to, for the most part, of the people that you're in the same social circles as?
Yeah, I
been
think
lucky
like
enough
that
to
we're in the same social circle, and we haven't really
had
come
any of
across
the
too many
negativity.
stories where there's negativity. I think, I don't really interact that much with my social media. Like, it's really hard. Like, it's hard work. It's like a full-time job. If you want to try and post a video or something, maybe it's just because I'm not very good at technology, but I know there's people that are well able to they're able to post their videos every day and all of that, but it does take time and effort to post a video and all that, so I don't like do that much on it.
I suppose social media has, as you pointed out, and rightly so, it is a choreographed version of people's lives, and the reality of life is far more grounded, as you've found out when you came home on Monday to the has to have been an absolutely wonderful experience at the boxing club in Castlereagh. Lisa, what was it like walking into that hall?
Yeah, look at I suppose the whole community in Castlereagh and the boxing club. We weren't surprised, I don't think, with the sport we landed back to, because every time we come home, they are always just out in full force, and the town and community are they're too good to us, to be honest. They always go above and beyond, and going back then, the two of us, it was just so nice going in with a medal each and knowing that we had done them so proud, coming home with silver and walking into the club. And it was just nice going back to, I suppose, the boxing club, because that's where it started, day one, like down there. So it was just lovely, and all the people like that have been supporting us from day one and in our bubble, and know all the hard work and dedication we do put into the sport. And then just seeing Paddy and the whole gang there and supporting us, like, we can't thank them enough, I suppose.
Yeah, and Aoife, from your perspective as well, that support, as you aired on, has to be go beyond just being appreciated. It has to be, I suppose, nearly daunting. And do you feel like sometimes you're living up to an expectation of being deserving of the support, which of course you are?
No, I think, like, no matter what we achieve, or if we didn't achieve a medal or whatever it is, the Castlereagh, they're still the same, and the whole of Roscommon, like, everyone is still so proud of us, and we really do feel that. We do, like, we see all the social media messages from them, like, and they're just, they're like a full army behind us. Castlereagh.ie, I know they do be flat out posting, letting everyone know about our times that we're going to be in the rings, and anything we're doing, like, they really are behind us. We've had great support, no more than yourselves, from Roscommon people and the Herald and the whole of Roscommon. Like, we really do feel like we do have the support of the county behind us.
Well, you certainly do, ladies. And we finished as we started, saying that thank you very much for doing Castlereagh, Roscommon, and Ireland so proud on the world stage.
No, thanks for having us on. Thanks very much.
And thank you for watching this episode of the Roscommon People podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or like our Facebook page for further updates, and keep an eye out for the next episode of the Roscommon People podcast. This episode of the Roscommon People podcast is brought to you by Dermot Hughes Cars at Lone Road, Roscommon Town. Check out the full range of new and used cars available at dermothughescars.ie.